Hi, I'm Beth Trapani, and this is the first in a series of webisodes on the brain-body connection brought to you by Mission Healthy Living. I'd like to welcome our guest today, Dr. Missy Patchke, who's the principal at Upper Providence Elementary in the Springford School District, and Leslie Rufo, who is a 4th grade teacher at Upper Providence. And Leslie, you are the parent of 2 children, and so you're here in 2 capacities today to talk to us about your life as a teacher and as a parent in the district. So thanks for joining us. All the research shows that children do better academically when they're more physically active. So, Dr. Patchke, let me start with you. Talk to us a little bit about your experience working with children and how that bears itself out.
Absolutely. The connection between the brain and the body is an untapped resource sometimes that we at Upper Providence have truly found it to have exponential gains with learning. Students that have movement incorporated into their day truly do better in not only their learning tasks, but their life tasks.
Can you tell me, in today's high-stakes testing age, how can you find time to fit more physical activity in? Because you have a million things to do with kids, there's not enough time to do it all, and now you want to try to add more physical activity as well.
Right. I think the answer I would ask you, how could we, knowing the research, knowing what we see, is how could you possibly not add more activity into classrooms? What we know is you have to put that trust up front, and what you get out of it is a higher product in the end.
Leslie, with your experience in the classroom, you see it every day. Tell us the difference between children who are encouraged and allowed to move on a regular basis versus kids who have to sit for 45 minutes, an hour, longer at a time.
The benefits with 9 and 10-year-olds, allowing them the opportunity to move, their attention span is only about 8 to 10 minutes if I'm lucky. So after every 8 to 10 minutes, it's really important to get them either up and moving or taking some type of fun little musical brain break to allow them to get the fidgets out and then refocus back in for the task. In the long run, when you set up those opportunities for brain breaks, you're going to get more out of them for longer periods of time if you take those little tiny breaks.
Tell us what one of those looks like.
A brain break could be, being that I have such a passion for teaching in general, I'm also a fitness instructor. And so I'll utilize, we'll do 10 wall sits, or we might do 10 air jacks. We might play a little bit of Simon Says, or get them up and moving. It's all physical oriented. Fun stuff right off the cuff where we can get them up out of their seats and play a quick little game. It maybe takes 2 minutes. And then when they sit back down, the refocus is amazing.
So some people might think, oh gosh, that gets them off task, but you feel it's actually the opposite.
Absolutely.
Do kids seem to respond differently when it comes to testing? Do you see a difference in Missy as well across the school with test scores?
No, I would say absolutely. Some of what Leslie and her colleagues do is prior to some of the state assessments, they'll do relaxation techniques, they'll do breathing, they'll have movement included, and they also coach students so that children in these classes understand the technique and why it's beneficial to them. My hope is that's where the life learning comes in, because they'll always know that these are techniques that are important for me as a learner.
Okay.
I know personally when you talk about high-stakes testing, kids are aware of high-stakes testing. The last thing we want them to do is become stressed. So the first thing you start to teach them is how to relax. Use a little yoga breathing. I know I use it every week, if not almost every other day in my classroom. Before we take a big test, I'll turn all the lights down, throw some yoga music on, and teach them how to breathe. At first it sounds sort of silly. We're going to learn how to breathe. We already know how to breathe. Well, when you really focus kids, take in oxygen and exhale and really start to get them aware of their breathing and pay attention to their body. And then you start to teach them when you get to that question that causes you to tense up and you're holding your breath and you find your shoulders in your ears, take a deep breath, come back to that moment. So as you teach kids that and how to listen to their body, they can then cope and understand how to use that in all their years of testing.
Terrific. all the research shows that schools that have really made an effort to incorporate physical activity have actually seen an increase in test scores. Leslie has obviously bought into this as a parent, a fitness instructor. How do you get all your teachers on board with this?
I can honestly say that I'm singing to the choir because my teachers came to me with this information. It first probably started to come into our school from personal teacher interest, taking courses outside of our school and walking in my office and saying, "Do you know about this? Or could I share with this at a faculty meeting?" And as soon as you look at it and you start to see it in action, it's a no-brainer. It's common sense, and the words "of course" just come out.
So it's really as little as a couple minutes a day?
Many times a day.
Many times a day. Okay, so breaking the day up for them so that they're not having to sit, or that the only physical activity they get is not just during gym class, for instance, or physical education.
Right, and keep in mind also it doesn't have to be big movement. It can be brain-oriented. For example, as soon as you force your brain, you go across your midline, you're putting your brain in another situation. You're connecting movement to learning. So it might be as simple as taking the class through an exercise where they have to do something different out of their box.
Okay. What do you suggest to parents, Leslie and Dr. Paschke, that to do at home, to encourage this kind of thing at home? I hear all the time from parents, all my child wants to do is sit on the couch or text, etc. How do we get them up moving outside?
First of all, you have to be a good role model. So if you're going to preach it to your kids, you have to do it yourself. So I know myself, it's an easy sell for my kids. Let's go, let's get out and walk, or let's throw some music on and dance in the kitchen. They're just easy little things that break up your day, and then that's fun that I can have. I'm a working mom, I'm busy trying to cook dinner, so we throw music on while we're cooking dinner. I can't really take credit for cooking dinner. While others are cooking dinner and I'm doing other things, you know, we're moving and doing what we need to do. If my kids get stressed on something at home as far as homework goes, I really do tell them, walk away from it, go upstairs, relax, lay down, take a couple deep breaths, and come back. You might be able to think more clearly through it. So for me, it's common language, and I do try to share that with my parents.
I love the idea of making it a family commitment, because that's really where the sustainability will be. Also, as a parent, when you're struggling with homework, these are great techniques to break it up, avoid frustration, and if you allow movement before a session, you may see a different result at the end.
Terrific. Well, clearly it's making a difference for you in your school.
Absolutely.
So, thanks for sharing your thoughts. Again, this is one of the missionhealthyliving.org webisodes, and it's sponsored by the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation. Thanks for joining us. Hi, my name is Beth Trapani, and this is the second in a series of webisodes on the brain-body connection brought to you by Mission Healthy Living. I'd like to introduce our guest today, Dave Genova, Health and Wellness Coordinator for the Pottstown School District.
Thank you.
And Nancy Kupferschmidt, a physical education teacher for Pottstown High School.
Yes.
So thanks so much for being here today. All the research shows that there is a direct correlation between the amount and type of movement that we do and how our brain works. And without question, nationwide, schools that offer more opportunities for physical activity and physical movement see increases in academic success. And in Pottstown, you've started to really focus on that. So Dave, let's start with you. As the Health and Wellness Coordinator, tell us what kinds of things the school district is doing and the emphasis that the school district is placing on wellness.
Yeah, the Pottstown School District right now is really taking a initiative improving health and wellness, not only in their students, but also in the faculty and the community altogether. Like you said, there's proven research out there that you can't ignore the fact that more physical activity, better nutrition helps improve performance in the classroom. So some of the programs that we're running right now, we're doing after-school programs, we're doing assemblies, because exercise helps stimulate the brain cells. It also improves concentration and memory. A child is better equipped to help absorb that information and then retrieve that information when you need it to, with the information that you've learned into the classroom. So because a lot of our teachers understand these needs, our teachers are incorporating brain breaks in the classroom and energizers. And what brain breaks and energizers basically are 1 to 2 minutes during the class of just simple exercises. You can do jumping jacks, bodyweight squats, lunges. The idea is just to get up out of your chair and start moving around. 1 to 2 minutes of class. Other teachers have opportunities to incorporate physical activity directly into the school curriculum. There's math teachers that do it, science teachers, health teachers, as well as social studies teachers.
Terrific. Nancy, as a physical education teacher, you deal with this on a daily basis. Talk to me a little bit about why you feel this is so important.
Well, obviously it's my profession, and it's promoting what I've already known and most people in physical education already know, is that if you get up and move around, then normally you can think better. And I think the average adult probably intuitively knows that whenever they go to an hour-long meeting somewhere in business, they're about shot after 1 hour and they need to get up and move around, and we take breaks, and children need it too. They need it more so. I mean, they're designed, and humans are designed to move, and we need to move often and regularly in addition to the other subjects that we're working on.
At the high school level, Nancy, you're getting ready to ultimately send kids out into the real world where they have to kind of manage their own time, be it college or work, et cetera. And one of the things that you've done is a heart rate monitor program that's funded by the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation that helps to teach kids about how to manage their physical activity and their health. Can you tell us about that?
We just started the program. We just received the watches this year. So it's a watch that keeps track of how many beats per minute that your heart is beating during exercise, and you should have a target zone of which that you should be working within in order to achieve cardiovascular fitness. So for like a teenagers, it's between like 130 beats per minute to 160 beats per minute. So the watches show you how hard you're working, essentially, the intensity of your workout. So they can see it, they can feel it, they can see it, and know what a good workout feels like, and know what it feels like to sustain it for at least 20 minutes a day, that higher level of heart rate. In addition, it can go up and down, but the objective is to have at least 20 minutes during the course of a workout, and you may have some that are higher than, let's say 152 beats per minute, so that's really high intensity. And as you cool down, it gets less than that. And as you warm up, it gets less than that.
District-wide, and in particular at the high school level, you're starting to teach kids about working out and about physical activity rather than just everybody line up, pick teams, and play ball.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about the kinds of things that you're trying to incorporate.
I teach a strength and conditioning class, and it's some of the basic concepts of what your workout should include, about a warm-up, about stretching, about the different types of workouts that you can do. Like you can have ones that are aerobic, which would be your running and getting your heart rate up. And it doesn't have to be just running. It could be biking or walking at a brisk pace. Strength training, in addition to things that have balance or things that just contract and hold poses like yoga does or Pilates. Going through the full range of motion, getting, your whole body worked out, not just parts of it.
I think so many students and adults are so busy today, and we're all plugged in with technology, and I hear people say, well, I don't have time to work out. David and Nancy, what kind of message would you want to send to people to say, even 5 minutes can make a difference?
Yeah, it absolutely can. The American Heart Association recommends for school-age children 60 minutes of physical activity every single day of the week. I know a lot of people can struggle getting that 60 minutes into into your day, both children as well as adults. So you can actually break that down into 2 30-minute segments, if that's a little bit more realistic to do, or you could break it down even further than that and exercise 15 minutes 4 times a day, which is possibly a better option, both for health as well as time. You want to make sure that exercise is fun and enjoyable, not only for the adult but also the student or the child. It's important that the parent describes to the child as he or she is growing up that you want to develop a culture of wellness. It's a lot easier to prevent obesity and disease than it is to treat obesity and disease. So that's really important for parents to understand.
Terrific. Nancy, do you see from certainly your class is based on physical education, but especially other teachers in other classes, that when kids move, they tend to have more focus and perform better?
We have to talk about more of that at the high school level as far as testing is concerned. And Boyertown is actually starting a program where they're doing physical activity right before major tests, like the Keystones tests, which are coming up in December. So they've planned a whole program which incorporated across various curriculum. And I'd like to see the Pottstown School District do that also, so that and compare, and they actually had increased test scores from one year to the next by incorporating a period of exercise, just enough to wake the brain, get the oxygen there, get the chemicals going within the brain, and we actually absorb and learn, and our memory is better.
Great. What would you both say briefly to parents who say, my child really has no interest in going outside, they are already overburdened and overscheduled, and now I have to get them to exercise as well? That the parent really needs to become the role model. The parent has control. They're supposed to have control over how much screen time they allow their children to watch, whether it be the cell phone, television, computer, video games. So they really have to take a step forward and initiate that, and it needs to become a family event. Taking a weekend to go rock climbing or ride bikes or go swimming, go to a park. It has to be fun. Great. Okay. Hopefully we'll see the dividends of that paying off. So thanks so much, both of you, for your time. And again, this is the second in a series of webisodes sponsored by missionhealthyliving.org, which is funded by the Pottstown Area Health and Wellness Foundation.
And did we?